Yo, what's going on, guys? Skynet here. We got another Dokkan video today, and today, as you see here, I got a MAJIN power team. I'm going to be taking it against Buhan, and I'm going to be trying to do a couple things. One, I'm going to be trying to beat the event, obviously, but two, and more importantly, I want to get some insane damage stats with some boys, like with the Tech Exchange Super BUU, and with BUU tanks, especially when he gets into Buhan, and also I want to see, just have a bit of fun, see if we can prove if Kid BUU is stronger than Buhan, or if it's vice versa, and the only way to know that is to see if our Kid BUU can whoop Buhan's ass, or if Buhan is going to destroy us. So let's go and get into the fight. You saw the team we have here. Obviously, we have Tech Exchange BUU for the lead, but we also have some really other good units, obviously, on this team, right? We have the Super Easy A Kid BUU. Let me turn off the auto right there. We have BUU tanks, or Buhan, I guess, if you want to kind of just focus on the post-transformation kind of a thing there. We do have the AGL LR Super BUU, who's probably like the worst unit on this team, and he's not that bad necessarily. He's just compared to the others, he's just not like that, obviously. So that's the I guess notable difference there. And then we have some other units. Obviously, the friendly we saw was we see actually right here too is the Golden Week Part 1 into not Super BUU, but in MAJIN BUU. Great unit, obviously, revivals, defense stacking, the whole shebang. So this is a team that's going to be very fun. Definitely a long fight kind of team. Like, it's built to like build up eventually, and like by turn 7 or so, then we will kind of get everyone rolling. So unfortunately, first few turns is going to be kind of stagnant, especially because BUU tanks, being who he is sealing one of our more prominent damage dealers potentially. So that's definitely a bit annoying for sure right now. But I think, all things considered, this should be a pretty straightforward fight. So obviously, for those who don't know how the fight works, which at this point I'm pretty sure everyone does, but just to, I think this is probably going to be something I do with every single time I do a vid on the Buhan fight, but just to kind of explain how the fight works, right? So we start off with BUU tanks here. You see he is just got the typical kind of boss mechanics, immune to attack and defense down, sealing, stunning, all that stuff, right? On top of that, he's taking away our HP, which we are healing thanks to all the BUUs and the MAJIN power kind of just design in general as a team. And actually, as I do that, real quick, let me yeah, that's probably like fine right there. Just leave Mr. BUU kind of in the front first slot there with his damage reduction, of course. But we have BUU tanks. He's sealing us, which is one thing that's really annoying. I think Mr. BUU right now is the one who's sealed on this turn, so not the worst unit to get sealed here, obviously. But he's doing the sealing. He's taking away our HP. He's got some pretty annoying kind of gimmicks in there as well, right? And then once we beat this first phase, right, with the BUU tanks, then we get into Buhan, the second phase, which is technically the hardest phase as far as the stat sort of thing is concerned, right? The second phase is the one where the boss has like the most HP, the most damage, all that sort of thing. And to be fair, he's just really strong, obviously, right? But at the same time, Buhan, the thing about him is he can have his attack and defense lowered, and so that's kind of a nice thing for us to take advantage of. He will be doing more damage per turn in terms of like the HP decrease on our side of things, so we do got to be a bit careful about that. I actually don't know if our healing will kind of supersede that, but it'll be kind of interesting to see, I guess, because I have not taken this team against Buhan, funnily enough, which I feel like this is like one of those kind of teams that you would think about taking against Buhan, because it is a 5-phase fight. But I've never actually seen this team in action against Buhan, so I am curious to see if our healing will eventually kind of be strong enough to kind of negate Buhan's kind of HP decrease and all that stuff. But we'll see here. Obviously, it's actually not really doing it because we're already kind of struggling to heal up everything that BUU tanks is giving us, which is like 66,000 HP. So the difference is definitely noticeable there. I don't really want to float off the Tech Exchange BUU, but I might as well for the time being, just because Super BUU, I want to get his defense up and running, get him kind of taken care of, so that way I can start to float him off later down the line, when we kind of need him to be less important. And then obviously we're taking the Super right now, so hopefully we can tank this. Actually, that's not too bad. I mean, for an 8th year unit, right, which Super BUU is, the AGL Super BUU, I should say, he is an 8th year unit. He was not necessarily that great of a unit on release, right? He's a yellow coin LR, so naturally they're not going to be as good as Carnival LRs and stuff. He's still doing a pretty good job there, so I'm pretty happy with that. But anyways, I got sidetracked there. So we started off, I talked about Buhan, right? So Buhan has some things we can take advantage of, but he can still be quite annoying himself. Once we beat Buhan, right, which is the second phase, then we get into phase 3, which is again with BUU tanks, and this time BUU tanks will be doing a character kind of lock. He'll be doing character switch locking, which basically means we can't, swap characters between different slots within the turn, so that can kind of screw up some rotations, potentially. And thankfully, a lot of these units, they're good enough where it shouldn't really be, like, a serious issue overall. But at the same time, if I could keep rotations together, I would like to do so, because then that means I can keep more damage consistently. Obviously, like, all the benefits of keeping a rotation in order are kind of self-explanatory, I feel like. But yeah, so we will have to deal with that once we get into Phase 3, and then from Phase 4, it'll go into Buwickalo. He will be able to stun us with a super, and then we'll go into Buff Boo, which is going to be pretty straightforward right there, right? Phase 5, it's going to be pretty much a cakewalk at that point, honestly, at least to my understanding. I mean, it's possible maybe we get exposed even at something like Phase 5, right, with Buff Boo. But realistically, I think at that point, all the units that really matter are going to be built up such that we should survive. So that's just really, I guess, what I'm expecting there. Obviously, turn 4, we still have to get through Boo tanks on the first phase. So we, again, this is a slow it's a slow rolling team. It's kind of like, I guess the best analogy I can think of is like a snowball, right? If you think about a snowball on the top of the mountain, as you roll it down the mountain, eventually just picks up more snow and more snow. It's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It's getting larger and it's getting heavier, getting faster, and it's just getting stronger, right? So I think that's like an accurate sort of analogy for the Majin Power team, right? It just kind of starts off slow because, Boo Tanks, for example, he stacks attack and defense with his supers prior to him becoming Buuhan, right? So you do want to take advantage of that. So he's a stacking kind of unit there. The AGL Super Boo, obviously he's not really ramping up his damage as far as what he's concerned in his passive, but he is able to boost his defense and everything with the attacks he's receiving, so that's a boost there. Kid Buu, I didn't really talk about him yet, but Kid Buu with his Super Easy A, he is getting damage reduction and boost to his own crit chance based on the number of hits he's taking within, up to a maximum of like 6 hits total for like 60% crit hit chance and damage reduction actually. So, units like that, really, that's, I guess, the perfect way to kind of explain really why this team is like that snowball, right? Where it just eventually starts to become really powerful, but for the starting portion, it gets a bit slow to start. So, that's, I guess, really the fun. That's the pro and con to Majin Power. Is like for any long fight, pretty much, it's safe to say that if you play your cards right and if you're kind of like manipulating the situation pretty decently, you can kind of handle business really well. And maybe, yeah, you can get exposed once or twice, but like 9 times out of 10, 8 times out of 10, you're going to be fine. But then in short fights, I would not really want to take Majin Power. Even like, for example, a fight like the Super Buu Red Zone stage, which is only 2 phases, I would not really want to take this team into that fight. And this team has a lot of great units, but I just know that in order for all these units to work to their best ability, they all need time to get the love they need to be able to work at their best ability, right? So that's just one of those situations. Do I want to go ahead and get Evil Buu all the way into Super Buu right now? I might as well, because I think it's just like a good opportunity to get some damage. The linking, not exactly the craziest, but it is okay. It's not the end of the world, of course. How will we kind of... Yeah, I mean, actually, unfortunately, the second Rainbow Orb did not want to fall there for Super Buu, so I can't take advantage of that extra damage. And I think it's also a crit chance boost, I guess is the better way to describe it. But unfortunately, we can't get that second orb, so it is what it is. We'll just have to move on beyond it. Obviously, it's better for Int Buu actually to get his supers going more than it is to get Tech Buu that extra Rainbow Orb and do some more damage. Because Int Buu, stacking defense, we do want to take advantage of that, just have an extra unit that can kind of handle his business for sure there. But at the same time, now that I think about it, I wouldn't be mad if he got his Revival. Just because I know his Revival will kind of boost him, make him a bit better, so, it's definitely going to be much appreciated. And unfortunately, in Buu, for those who don't know, his Revival is only available to he himself, so, if Super Buu right now, the Tech 1 dies, or Buu Tank's in the back there, we're not going to get the Revival off. So it's kind of annoying for sure. Like, it's nice that the Revival is available, like, turn 1 right away, but at the same time, only one unit being able to activate that Revival is definitely like a frustrating kind of a situation for sure. So it is what it is. Thankfully, we don't have to worry about Buu Tanks anymore. Now we can worry about Buuhan and the menace that he is going to try to be at the very least. Are we gonna... Yeah, I was hoping we could get like all 5 of those Rainbow Orbs there, but unfortunately that's not going to be the case. 3 there, that's 4, right? So, okay, we'll take the 4 there, and then we're actually fully healed. I forgot that Mr. Buu heals along with the Rainbow Orbs that he's acquiring. So Rainbow Orbs for Mr. Buu, right? He's getting his damage reduction, and he's also actually healing. I think it's just like a 15,000 HP boost per. I think it's like something like that, so I forget the exact amount, but I'm pretty sure it is something like that, which, needless to say, that's really awesome. That's really, really great for something like this. Then Kid Buu, I think, if I remember correctly, he lowers defense, so we should be seeing some defense lowering here. Maybe an additional, please? Nope. Okay, no additional. but we are fine. We're obviously tanking the normals really nicely. 12.7 mil from the Super BUU, which is, I think, it's not the maximum damage. You see there, he did get a boost to his damage after receiving the hit, but that's probably about as good as we're going to get. Wow, we actually healed. Yeah, so we did actually heal as much of the damage as Buuhan actually inflicted on us just on the turn. So I guess earlier when I was talking about, if we're going to be able to, I kind of answered my question there, right? Because obviously, we just did. So that's I actually really do appreciate that, because I was not sure that that was gonna work. I actually genuinely thought that there was some healing to be had between the units, but I didn't think it would be sufficient enough to kind of cover that. That's like 120k damage that Buuhan just does per turn. So I did see one comment talking about how like the damage can be quite annoying. And this was in regards to my Earthred Fighters vid, which I will put a link to it if I can remember to like put a link to it in the card right now. I'll make sure to do so. But yeah, definitely the damage is annoying when it comes to Buuhan, and I guess BUU tanks too in the first like phase. Like the damage is definitely annoying. But there are a lot of units right now that take advantage of things like revivals, take advantage of other sorts of things like the Majin Power Team, right, where there's healing and everything like that. So all in all, I wouldn't say it's a really big issue. And also, it's worth mentioning, right? There's so many units right now where they can have good defensive stats. So obviously, for those who have not learned this by now, which I'll admit, like, it took me a while to kind of realize this correlation. But when I did, like, I've started taking advantage of it ever since, right? But the higher your defense is on a certain unit, that means there is greater healing when they get their own, related type orbs, right? So Tech Super BUU, if he has the highest defense within one rotation, then if I get Tech Orbs with him, because that's his typing, then he's going to get a lot more healing than maybe a second unit who is also Tech type, but he is not as high of a defense, right? So there's a lot of different ways to kind of avoid, or just like, not even avoid, actually, that's the wrong word, but there are a lot of ways to kind of ease the pain, rather, of what the kind of damage I guess that Buuhan could do. I kind of like had a brain fart there in terms of what I was trying to say, but you guys understand what I'm talking about, obviously, so I don't really feel like I have to kind of like baby you guys in the sense of like holding your hand and like explaining step by step by step, all that stuff. I feel like I've seen like a lot of players, talk about like their experiences and stuff, and like some people have questions on how certain things work and whatnot, but I will say this, there's a lot of people in the Dokkan community and the Dokkan player base who are very smart individuals, especially when it comes to like certain specific things in specificity, I guess. I don't know what the right word is there, but there are a lot of people who just know the game pretty well. Obviously there's like one or two little caveat details that maybe just get thrown in the wayside or get forgotten, but yeah, like there's very few people who are like too new to the game to the point where like they don't understand a lot of the things, right? So this isn't really something that has to be, I guess, overly explained. That was a lot of damage, by the way, from that was a lot of damage taken by Mr. BUU, I should say. I think I definitely got his 2 orbs, I think, right, from the rainbow. Did I get 3 or 4? I don't even know now. I should have paid attention to his orbs, because that could have been the end of the run there for sure, and then we would probably have to try again. And I mean, needless to say, I don't want to do that, right? This is one of those fights where, because of how slow it takes for us to kind of get going, obviously, we're on turn 9 and we're still on, or actually, we're technically on turn 10 now. So turn 10, we're still on phase 2, and it's also, by the way, because I'm looking at the recording right now, it's 14 minutes basically into the recording right now. I'll probably kind of cut some snippets of the beginning right there, but actually, let me real quick, I guess, move this around here. But because of how slow it is to get this team going, and because of how long the fight is in general, in combination with that, I really, really don't want to have to do a start over kind of thing. That would be like a nightmare right now for sure. And I guess it's better now to have it happen than to have it happen like phase 4 or phase 5, like at the very, very end. But still, I really don't want to do that. So there's that. I will say, this is also probably like gonna come out, this vid, by the way, guys, is probably gonna come out, several days later than when I recorded. Right now I'm recording this at the end of like the first week of June, right? So like June 7th. Which, by the way, I do apologize, guys, that I haven't been able to be as consistent in like the past week or so. I did try to make some recordings like a week or two ago, like pre-recorded, but I don't think I put any of them out because for one reason or another, my audio was like corrupted in some files, and like it was just kind of wonky, or I just wasn't able to get to editing them properly. But in those vids, and I don't think I ever actually put a vid that mentioned this, but I was busy prepping for an exam. It was a licensing exam, so I was trying to prepare for that. Hopefully, I will pass it. I have taken the exam, I just haven't received the results yet, so, fingers crossed. Hopefully, that's good there. But in any case, because of that, I've just been busy personally, and I've not been able to make the content as consistently as I want to. And yeah, like, again, I tried to pre-record some stuff to kind of maintain that consistency, and it just kind of fell apart because my time was kind of limited as I got closer and closer to the date, and then also it was just one of those things where even in times where I was kind of like trying to grind out and like get things going, losing audio or like having it just be unusable and things of that nature, it became frustrating. And also it was a situation where like, okay, well, that completely wasted maybe like an hour to 2 hours of my time, because now there's this one snippet of audio which is important to the vid, but without it I can't, do nothing. Like, I can re-record, but then my time is, again, more and more limited as it goes on. So, I do apologize again that I wasn't able to be as consistent past week. Even now, like, I'm still kind of trying to get back into rhythm because it has been a minute. So, when you kind of take a break from something, you kind of have to get back into the flow of doing things in that kind of fashion again. I'm kind of having to work through that myself. So, hopefully, this won't be too long after I record this when I put this out. But if it is, you understand why. It's either that is that I'm trying to get the rhythm, or it's because I have some other vid I'll put out in the interim. So just kind of want to mention all of that right now while it's worth talking about, I guess. How do we want to kind of play this? Because they locked the tech BUU, which is actually not the worst kind of position here. And actually, turn 12, how are we looking? My BUU tanks, by the way, he's a 1 dupe. So I'm kind of thinking in comparison to what he ought to be. Like, I'm trying to think like what's the best kind of design for him here. And actually, let me go ahead and keep int BUU here in the front, because int BUU, again, I do want to get his revive going if I can. And on top of that, he has the type disadvantage. He's one of those units that stacks defense. There's a lot of reasons to kind of keep him in the front, I guess, and this is one of them for sure. Is the supers, which are going to be doing some nice work for sure. Let's see. I have to check BUU's kit because it has been a minute since I've used BUU. I did try to pull for the MAJIN BUU, and I think, honestly, I have to think about this because, since the 9th anniversary on JP, which was like the beginning of January, we're about to get super here. Will this do a lot of damage? I don't know. Actually, that did nothing. Okay, that was a very pathetic showing from BUU tanks right there. So, shout out to MAJIN BUU, of course. But, yeah, I have to think about the banners, right? So, since the 9th anniversary kind of took place during the beginning of January for JP, right? We've had that banner, then we had the AGL Frieza, then we had the Tech Sanday with Vegeta, and then after that, if I remember correctly, it was Sanday Vegeta into Topo, into the Special Pose kind of Ginyu Force and everything like that, and then we went to Golden Week. So it hasn't been too many different banners necessarily, but the MAJIN BUU one was just one of the worst banners for me so far. It was just an atrocious experience. I did get some, nice kind of, I guess, featured units, but like in terms of not pulling a banner unit with a lot of effort put into it, the BUU banner was like one of the peak most shafted kind of banners for me in a while. So definitely not happy about how that all kind of ended up, I suppose. We did lose Kid BUU, unfortunately, so that does suck. But I will make the best of a bad situation, I guess, and let the Super BUU do his thing there. It doesn't really matter, I guess, how much healing we get, because we're already max health and everything and all that. We're not going to get too much better on the damage reduction either for Mr. BUU, so we are handling business quite nicely. 4.2 mil from Mr. BUU, by the way, which is, it could be better. I don't think my Mr. BUU is fully maxed out on the super attack, just because, a couple things really. One being I didn't have the Kais to do it, but also it was like, I didn't really want to, because I realized his not his super easy A, but his easy A super attack effect wasn't really worth, I guess, that extra boost to me at the time, so I still probably have to boost him up, probably get some better damage there. That is going to do, I was going to say, that's probably going to do a lot of damage, but that didn't do as much as I thought, and it did not do as little as I thought, I guess. I don't know how to describe it. But we are going to continue onward. Keep that for me, thank you. And then, are we going to get, so we get 2 there, we get 2, let's just take this, right? And then we can kind of set ourselves up next turn, potentially, with some nice rainbows for the Mr. BUU on the other rotation. 6.4 is, I think BUU is linking worse, because I'm pretty sure his damage is Wait, is this damage lower? It was 6.4 here. I mean, okay, so I think his additional last time was 6.6. If we get an additional super here, which I don't think we're going to get one. Okay, yeah. I think maybe he is linking better. I actually don't know. Now I'm genuinely like... I genuinely don't know if he's linking better with Evil Boo or if he was linking better with... Who was it? I think it was Super Boo that he was trying to link with. And I don't know if he was linking better with one or the other. I genuinely don't know. So we'll have to see, I guess, there. 12 mil? That's 12 mil from Evil Boo, which, by the way, mine is a 55% Evil Boo. That is actually insane damage. Wow. And then 18 mil from the Tech Exchange Boo. That one's a bit more standard. That one's like the classic kind of damage right there, for sure. And we got the kill on the Phase 3 Boo Tanks there, which is lovely to see. Now we're dealing with Buiklo, who is actually, I think he's doing some damage to us per turn. Which is what I was like, what, 30k? Which is pathetic in comparison to what Buuhan did in Boo Tanks during the first phase. And I think, you know what, now is probably a good time to get Buuhan out. Obviously, we've been kind of letting Boo Tanks cook in the sense of, like, get himself built up and everything. And it's been worth it, I would say, for sure, you know, just to be able to kind of get him up and running. But at the same time, you know, Buuhan is, like, the main creme de la creme of the unit, right, between Boo Tanks and Buuhan. Was that 7.1 mil? That's actually very low. I'm not sure why that is. I think I have one theory, which is probably going to be that it's due to us not having a Kid Boo, right? Kid Boo is a support unit through and through, especially post Super Easy A, you know, his support is a lot better. So obviously not having that is a big kind of a pain. And also he doesn't, or not Kid Boo, but I don't think Buuhan links well with Mr. Boo. I think that's probably the other issue, which I should have checked, but I will have a chance to do so next turn, so it's not, like, the end of the world. Okay, a little quick, big belly flop, I guess, from Mr. Boo. How is he going to tank this here? Okay, almost 200k. Actually, that's some... Is that more damage than what he took from Boo Tanks? I actually don't remember now. I wish I remembered. I think that may actually be more damage, and that's a bit disconcerting. Is that the right word? Yeah, I think it is. That is going to definitely be a bit scary here. Okay, so linking... It is a tidbit better. And I actually will kind of take advantage of it, I guess, because I want Kid Boo to rotate back with Buuhan for one big reason, which is the Big Bad Bosses link, right? So, Big Bad Bosses is, like, for those who don't know, Big Bad Bosses is probably, if not certainly, the best villain link that exists, right? Pretty much a lot of big, powerful villain units have that link, and you can put them all together, and especially at level 10, you know, it's very powerful. Even at level 1, it's powerful. It's just that as you link level that link in particular, the HP kind of threshold that's required for you to activate that link becomes less and less important. And then obviously at link level 10, you know, that health threshold is completely gone. So any sort of HP requirement is done. You just get the flat out boost as far as that link is concerned. So that's all well and good, but also more importantly than that, I do want to get Kid Boo into like the same rotation with Buuhan, since they are the only two units on this team that have Big Bad Bosses as a link. So you guys can probably see why I kind of prioritize that. And yeah, looking at the links, by the way, the links for Buuhan when he's paired with Mr. Boo are just, they're just dog water. They're just complete dog water, which is not what I was hoping to see there. I honestly was hoping that he would do a lot better, for sure. And then we get these orbs. Yeah, okay, nice. Yeah, I was hoping it would do a lot better, even just linking with Mr. Boo. But yeah, we'll see, I guess, how we can do. If we can dodge this, we cannot, so that's a stun, so we don't even get to see Buuhan's damage. God, why is Buiklo designed like this? I hate Buiklo right now. Buiklo is ruining my fun. He's ruining my fun because he knows that Buuhan was going to do some crazy damage. And he just trolled me. He just decided to just ruin my life. But that's okay. 22 mil from Tech Super Boo. He is getting revenge for his brethren, his fellow Boo Warrior. And we're done with Buiklo, so that's actually really, really impressive damage there for sure. Alright, sweet. So we're in the final phase now. So actually, yeah, this has actually been quite a long vid, just doing one run. But, you know, at the same time, this has definitely been a fun experience. Let me go ahead and get the active going. Just because, you know, we can handle that. Let's go ahead and have Boo gobble up the other Boo, I guess. I don't know if that's the right way to say it. I don't even know if that's what I should have said, actually. That's probably a bit wild there. But it's what's done is done, alright? It happened. Alright, whatever. So let's see. How much are we going to do here? 6? Yeah, the damage is not going to do much here. Unfortunately, you know, BUU is not designed to be a damage unit. He's decided to be, like, durable and, like, handle his business in that form. Wait, by the way, is Buff BUU? I think he is. Yeah, oh yeah, he does raise his attack for every turn that passes. I forget about that, yeah. So that's going to be a tidbit annoying. We do probably want to get rid of Buff BUU as quickly as possible then, because, I mean, I don't think it'll be an issue for, like, some time, but I don't want to take the risk that he just decides to throw a super with his attack buffs and then all of a sudden just nuke, like, one particular unit to, like, oblivion. So I don't really want to find myself in that position. 11 mil, though, from Evil BUU. We actually may be able to get rid of BUU in this turn, which, to be honest, I don't know if I want that to happen. It's gonna happen, but I don't want it to, because, like, I want Buuhan to get the kill, but I don't think we have a choice no matter. Okay, yeah, there we go. We did it. All right, that was actually pretty fun. I'm not gonna lie. You know, we did prove, though, that Kibu was a stronger form of BUU. You know, Kibu is clearly stronger than BUU Tanks and Buuhan and all those other BUUs. You know, power scalers, don't at me, because for one, this is obviously a joke, so I don't want to feel your wrath, but also because I don't want to kind of get into it. I'm not the expert on power scaling, guys. Obviously, you guys are, but you know, I just want to kind of have some fun there with, like, the jokes and everything. But anyway, so you saw we did the Majin Power team. That was actually really fun again. You know, it was a long team. I mean, I forget how many turns that took, but that was like a long time. You know, and obviously some of these units, you know, were moving slow. We didn't actually get to see Buuhan's, like, quote-unquote peak damage, which is like it's a big disappointment for me, because I would have liked to see it and especially liked to get it off, but Buiklo decided to screw me over there. So it is what it is. You know, I'm not gonna be too upset about that when we saw all these other units kind of cook and go crazy. But in any case, guys, that's going to do it for the vid. If you guys liked it, of course, hit the like button down below. Subscribe so you can see more vids like this in the future. Comment down below your favorite part of this vid, of course. And feel free to check out some of the other vids I have on this channel just to see some of the other content I put out so far. And thank you guys so much for watching this video. I will see you all in the next one.